Here.
Awesome.
Welcome everybody. My name's Tim Cook with the West DFW REI Group. These are our monthly, what we call the virtual lunch and learn events. They started off as a physical lunch and learn event just before COVID. We had 2 or 3 meetings before the COVID hit, and we decided to take them virtual, and we've been doing them ever since. And hopefully we're going to go back to a physical lunch meeting for too long. But the whole purpose behind this particular event is not really to have a particular topic to talk about, but to just do a Q&A session, talk about whatever's on your mind, and build relationships, meet other investors, build relationships in this business to help you grow your business. So that's what this event was all about. Since we only have a couple people on here so far, let's go ahead and do introductions, and just give us your name, where you're located, what your experience is in the business, and then you can drop all your contact information in the chat box. A lot of groups don't like to use the chat, but I like to share these because this is supposed to be a networking event. It's hard to meet physically, and shake hands and stuff. So my way to make up for that is use the chat box. But put us, in the chat box, put your name, email, phone number, and what you're buying or what you're looking for or what you're offering other investors in the group. So that's what we want to do today. So Chase, let's start with you, and you got it.
Awesome. Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chase Tyler. I am 35. I actually just moved here to the DFW area. I actually closed on my house March 29th. Me and my family live out in Hazlet, Texas.
Okay.
In that area. I'm new to investing. My little short background of myself. I did 11 years in the Army. Got out in 2019.
Thank you for your service.
No problem. Appreciate that. I lived in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I was stationed at in Fort Bragg or Fayetteville area, if anyone's familiar with that. Did some overseas contracting, doing security in Iraq at the embassy there. And that was all of last year during COVID. And then that's kind of where I got more invested in myself more with real estate. I actually was doing some little wholesaling over there while I was overseas, just kind of keeping my mind busy. So I was able to do it. That's everything being virtual, kind of where I got into it and learned from there, met quite a few people doing that. Back in December, me and my dad started to kind of take this to the next level a little bit with real estate, which he has a lot of experience with. So we started a real estate company, call it Making It Possible Investments. My dad is in Florida, in Daytona area. He has a branch down there. I told him I would move to Texas, where I'm originally from, actually from Austin. And told him I would move to Texas and kind of start that here as well. So like I said, now that me and my family are here, we all settled in, I'm like, all right, now I'm going to try to hit the ground running, start networking, start meeting some people, start, seeing kind of what's going on in the DFW area. And I came across DFW REI Group here, and I was like, all right, I'm plugged in, ready to go, ready to meet, ready to learn.
Cool.
Ready to just make a better life for me and my family on this. So
welcome to the group.
Appreciate it.
I happen to think you're in the best REI group in the country, so.
I'm glad to hear that. Tim.
I'm not partial though.
Hey, Alexa, I'm just glad to be here, man. I'm glad to learn. I'm open and willing to learn. Now, again, just network and get out there. I know networking is just everything nowadays.
Yep. Okay. What brought you to Texas?
I'm originally from Austin. My dad was in the military. He retired in the 90s down in Fort Hood. Had a house built in a city called Cedar Park, which is north of Austin. And that's where I grew up at, from the age of 10 on to elementary, middle school, high school. Went to St. Edward's University down in Austin for a year.
A long way from Hazlet, though.
Oh, yeah. It's all right. We came up here. I got family up here in the area. So that's kind of what brought us to this area. I had family up here. And since I grew up in Austin, I didn't want to go back. And I know kind of what's going down in Austin right now. So definitely want to move down here to the DFW area. And hey, after 12 offers, found a house here in Hazlet. So
you must be doing something right. You got an offer accepted.
Exactly. So especially using the VA loan at that. So it
Yeah.
all worked out pretty well for me. No complaints.
So I just, speaking about that, I just got a house under contract to sell. I've been rehabbing. And in 2.5 days, we had 52 showings and 21 offers. So, yeah, you did good getting one accepted. So
Big
congratulations.
time.
Okay, we'll
Appreciate
drop all
that.
your contact information in the chat there. Okay, Marshall, you're next.
All right. Sorry, I was on off the video because I'm eating lunch. Didn't want everybody to watch me eat. So
That's okay. You're good.
I'm Marshall Morgan. I'm out of Keller. Mostly am working on the flipping houses right now. Also looking into the subject twos more. My background is in construction. I was a custom home builder back in the early 2000s, before, well, up into 2008, when everything kind of crumbled. I have a real estate license, and then this year decided, which was my plan all along, to get into investing. And so I've been doing that since February, which is right when the market skyrocketed and made it 10 times harder to find a house than it had been. So, but I did just put got a contract on a house.
Nice.
And we're in the option period right now. We've got it was an off market, but it was a realtor that was going to list it, but I talked to them about seeing it first. So we're having an inspection and everything tomorrow. So I'll know for sure after that if I'm hanging on to this one and doing it or not. So, but I'm excited.
Is this going to be a rental?
No, it is a flip.
Flip? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Well, congratulations. It
Thank you.
is very hard to find acceptable deals. There's one way you could buy a lot of houses. What is it?
Just spend the most.
Offer too
Outbid
much.
everybody.
Pay
Yeah.
too much. Yeah. You
Yeah.
can buy a lot of houses that way, but that's typically not what we encourage you to do. So,
yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and drop all your info in the chat.
Will do.
And we'll move on here. We talked about the subject to workshop I did, right? You already have that information?
Yes. I bought it, downloaded it. I wasn't able to attend it back in March, but I bought it and going through it.
Okay, good. Well, make sure you let me know if you have any questions on that.
Sure will. Thank you.
Cool. Okay, Adam, you're up next. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. So my name's Adam Kelfer. I'm based in Dallas. My wife and I are, I guess, investors. We own a couple rental properties, but we also both have full-time W-2 jobs. I work in public accounting doing international tax consulting, and my wife's a real accountant. She works at Match.com doing accounting. So we're actively looking for properties to invest in. And as Marshall mentioned, it's really tough these days to find any good deals. And Tim, I saw one of your presentations on Joe Boston's Dallas REIG, and so I figured I'd join this to just kind of get to know another group of people and try to network and sharpen my skills.
Cool. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure if you were on yet, but I happen to think you're in the best place you could be in for REIA groups. We're a little bit different than some of the other REIA groups. And you'll learn that as we go along, and we'll talk about some of those differences, but I think you're in a great place. My hat's off to you for taking action and checking it out, reaching out to us and seeing what we have to offer you. So
yeah,
cool. Welcome. Go ahead. Are you buying houses now then?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, looking to, not The last
Yeah.
one we bought was back in January, and that was our second property. But yeah, definitely looking at opportunities all the time. It's just, like I said, a lot of things are overpriced, and sellers seem to think they're going to get the world for what
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure is a good value.
And some of them do. They,
Yeah, a lot of them do. It's amazing what they're going for right now.
Yep.
I wish I
So-
bought more 10 years ago.
yeah, if you would, go ahead and drop your
Yeah.
contact info and your buying criteria in the chat box.
Sure.
So everybody has it. And we'll get you on everybody else's buyers list. So, okay. Mary, you're up next.
Hi, my name's Mary Alice McMillan, and my wife and I have been working in real estate since 2014. Pandemic has not been good to us. Jobs lost, COVID, all of that. We started out buying a couple of properties out of state, actually. I'm in Irving, Texas. And that went well for me. It did not go well for my wife. We're in litigation for a property that she was the bank, and the woman hasn't paid in 5 years at this point.
Oh, my goodness.
She turned a duplex into a bar and grill. And we are trying to get the property either sold or back to us, something. But we flipped a couple of houses. We've had some rough times. We flipped the house 2 years ago now, and it should have sold for about 600,000. But our contractor delayed, and by the time we could sell it, we got 20,000 each between our partner and ourselves. The market we were trying to market it before people put their kids in school, and so we didn't sell it till December. So we lost a lot of money on that deal.
Where was that house located?
Dallas. It
Okay.
was in Dallas.
And how long ago was that?
Probably 2 years. Well, 2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago at this point.
Do you have any idea why it took so long to sell?
Yeah, our contractor, we couldn't get it on the market.
Oh,
He kept delaying us and delaying and delaying and not finishing it. And then by the time, as I said, we got it on the market, people that were looking for a very nice house and putting their kids in school, they'd already done that. So.
Yep. So now you're selling in December instead of August?
Correct. Or
Yep.
June or I mean, it should have been on the market in June.
Yep.
So, and it didn't go on the market until December. So that was our issue.
Timing is critical, that's for sure.
Yes, it is. Excuse me.
Okay.
But looking to connect with people, like as I said, we've been working on this for a while with some success. We have some rental properties. We flipped, actually looking for willing to work with people that don't have good credit and bank, let them lease to own or that sort of thing. So we have control of the property still, but they're trying to buy it, but they can't probably qualify for a loan. So
I would, we don't have time to get into it today, but I would caution you on lease to own versus owner finance versus rent to own. Lease to own is not illegal, but it's very difficult to comply with all the requirements. And most buyers, bad credit type buyers that are eager to do a lease to own probably can't perform in the time frame that you need to keep your butt out of hot water with the legal folks. So
okay.
Just be cautious with that. There is some law changes back in 2005, 6, 7 time frame. It's been a long time since I read it, but most people nowadays are doing owner finance or a fancy rent to own, and they both have different consequences than a lease to own, lease purchase type thing. So again, we don't have time to get into it today. We could probably talk about it in in an upcoming meeting, or we can talk offline about it, but
Okay.
you don't want to get yourself in a predicament.
No, already been there.
Yep. I kind of figured that would get your attention. So,
Absolutely. Well, we
okay.
can, we could do owner financing also. I mean, I'm not opposed to that. But what's the difference between rent to own or lease to own? What's the big difference?
The big thing is how you arrange the contract.
Okay.
You're doing a lease agreement versus a lease with an option. And
Right.
the combination of that lease and option is called an executory contract.
Okay.
And that's where you get yourself into trouble, because there's some very strict timeline requirements for giving them a deed. There's some very strict reporting requirements. And the other thing is there's some very stiff fines if you ever end up in court and you lose. It's, again, don't quote me on this because it's been a long time since I read it, but it was back when the law first changed. It was something like $25,000 a day fine if you got taken to court and found guilty of not complying with certain criteria in a lease option type scenario. So
Where can I find out more about rent to own then?
Well, you can certainly Google it, but basically in a nutshell, a rent to own would be like doing a straight lease agreement. And this is one thing that a lot of people don't like about a rent to own is you're doing a straight lease, but you're going to ask them for, if they really want to buy the house, basically you're going to talk about, if you're serious about this, how much of a deposit. I notice I didn't say option fee, I said deposit.
Right.
So in a lease, a deposit is refundable, right? As long as they comply with the lease agreement. Well, if they are serious about buying it, what you're going to do is you're going to get some extra deposit, and then how much can they afford to pay extra every month towards that deposit? So you're building up the deposit every month until they get enough to meet a down payment for you to be able to buy the house. Then you can convert that deposit into down payment money, write a sales contract, sell them the house on owner finance.
Okay, so have them build up the deposit, and then when I get it to what I want as a down payment, then I can
Sell
get
them the
them-
house.
get them to sign then I can give them a contract to buy the house with owner financing.
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that information.
So the big difference there is, let's say they're 5 years into this lease. You hope that it doesn't take that long, but let's say they're 5 years into it or 3 years into it, and they've been building this deposit up, and now all of a sudden life changes for them and they no longer want to purchase. When if they comply with the lease agreement, per the lease, and they give you notice and they move out, the bad thing is you have to refund the deposit they have coming due in accordance with that lease agreement.
Okay.
So that's the part that many investors don't like. They want the non-refundable part, but that's where part of the problem is in the lease purchase.
Okay.
So, it's just another way to skin the cat. It's another way to do the deal. If you've got somebody interested in buying the house, help them buy it.
Well, we had one of the rental properties that we had, they stayed in it for 3 years, I want to say. And we finally just sold it, and they were very unhappy because we didn't offer it to them. The problem was, though, that we could never get the rent on time, and we could never get all of the rent. They, there was always an issue that they couldn't pay it all. They couldn't pay on time. So we didn't offer the house to them for those reasons.
Don't blame you. But part of this business is educating your customers along the way. So, if you have the desire and interest to be able to sell a house to a renter, you have to educate them along the way on how they get there.
Right,
Payment history is a big part of it,
right,
and actually it's even more important when it becomes an owner finance deal because, if they default on an owner finance deal, now you got to foreclose on them.
right,
And the foreclosure process can be long and drawn out. And then if they play the game right, which many people understand, they can file bankruptcy. So then that just drags that whole process out. So, starting off as a rental to begin with so that they can establish payment history, very, very important in my mind.
right,
And just, see that they're paying on time, make sure they're maintaining the house. It's not just about buying the house and so you don't have to worry about it. But at some point, most people, at least with me, I want my owner finance buyers to be able to refinance at some point and pay me off.
right. What kind of
And-
period are you talking? 5 years, or when do you want
Yeah,
them to
three
refi?
to five is my desired time frame, but I'll tell you, I have two that are 11 to 12 years old. So, but I'm okay because they pay on time like clockwork.
Right,
They don't miss payments. But where I was going with that is, it's not just about paying the payment. They have to maintain the house.
right,
If they're not maintaining the house and the value's going down, remember when they refinance, the house has to appraise for that refinance amount.
right,
So
right,
if they're abusing it and they're not maintaining it, they may have paid payments on time every month, but if they haven't maintained it, it's not going to appraise, which means they're never going to get to refinance and pay it off.
right.
So
The people that in question were great. They kept the house up. They were a wonderful family. But it was a 4-bedroom house with about 10 people living in it, extended family, et cetera. So, but I mean, they did keep the house up, but there was always some emergency that they couldn't pay the rent. I mean, we liked the people. They did a good job of keeping it up, like I said, but we just couldn't do that any longer. It'd already been 3 years of,
yeah,
trying to get payments on time, that sort of thing. So,
I get it. But there's always a story, a challenge. But it's just one of those things you have to educate people along the way. If you expect them to do something in the future, educate them on how to get there. What do they have to do? What's the steps to get to
Right.
that point on the other end?
all
So,
right. I appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so that was kind of a long introduction, but that's okay. Let's go right into questions. Again, this is designed to be a Q&A session. We don't have the lunch piece, although Marshall had his lunch. But it's designed to do Q&A. So what kind of questions do you have? I know there's a lot going on out there in the market, not all really good for us as investors, but there still are opportunities and challenges. And I know it sounds like most of you are pretty new in the business. So how can I help you? What would you like to talk about?
Well, me, Tim, coming in, like I said, I'm really new and I'm eager. I hear everybody else kind of saying they've been in for a little while. I know Adam said he already has flipped some properties, and Marshall said he's in the process of closing and flipping. So with me being a new person and plus new here to the area, again, I know I can drive around looking for places. Like, what has been, I guess, the successful things for you guys that has worked in finding properties or contacting people? Again, at this point, I'm trying to build up a team of people. I have a couple of contacts with some contractors, just kind of have on the side whenever I do get something. I've been talking to a few real estate agents, trying to kind of get them on the side. It's like, hey, give me a property, like Marshall said, before it hits the market. So you really don't have to compete, but as long as it fits into your scope of work of what you're trying to accomplish, plus what you're trying to make on the back end of it. So I just wanted to kind of hear from whoever exactly, like what's worked for you, what hasn't worked, and plus what are you battling now with the price of material has skyrocketed from what I've heard as well. So how is that fitting to like how much money you're making on the back end, knowing that the prices of materials costing more, contractors are charging more, et cetera, et cetera.
So there's about a 3-week answer to all that. Anybody want to go ahead and answer before I do?
Well, the one thing I would say is I'm still trying to figure that one out. I am, and in fact, I would like to hear Tim's answer on it.
Well, so my first comment is make sure you all go register for the 5 June meeting. If you haven't seen the topic, it's what's working best now in the DFW market. So that's an event that you're going to want to attend. That's going to be a question and answer panel. We're going to have 5 of our movers and shakers in the group. These are actual VIP members, which is our paid members in the group that are out there doing deals. And I'm going to run them through a series of questions related to your question, Chase, about what's really working in today's market. It's a challenge. It's a challenge for me, and I've been in the business 20 years. So, these out-of-state investors that have deep pockets and unlimited cash, they're coming in and making these sight unseen offers on a lot of houses. And, that is making it impossible for the little guys, the mom and pop shops like me, and probably you as well, from being able to go in and compete. And just to tell you how bad it's been, I lost a couple of probate deals a few weeks ago. These were big deals. These were a 425 to 450 ARV and a 350 ARV home, and both major rehabs, outdated, water damaged on one. These were major rehab. My rehab estimates on these were like $92,000 and $96,000. So they were big rehabs. I lost. The seller we had a good rapport. I thought I had the deal wrapped up. He told me, I'm sorry, Tim, but I would have loved to have done business with you, but I just couldn't turn down the difference in money. And I said, well, if you don't mind, what was that difference? One of them was $92,000. One was $95,000. How do you compete with that?
Was over asking price?
No, more than I offered.
More than you offer. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I've been doing this 20 years, and when I have difficult deals like these two were, I have my listing agent that I use for selling all my rehabs, and her and I are usually, right on the money as far as the new ARV, even in today's market. And she just said, I don't know how they do that. What I'm doing now is I'm starting to put down a reminder to follow up and see what that house sold for and went back on the market for, to see what they did to that house. Now, if they don't ever relist it, if they rent the house, then I'll never know. Maybe. I might, but I might not. But 20 years in this business, my rehab contractor went with me, so I had real numbers on what the estimates were going to be. It wasn't a guess on my part, but it just blew me away when I heard that I got beat by $90,000+ on both offers. So very, very difficult times out there. So kind of to answer the question at a very high level for all of you about how do you find deals, I'm going to suggest that you have to focus on the individual homeowner. You want to be the first one to that seller's door with your message. I'm trying to change up my business right now. We've got direct mail going out. That's been very slow, but we're still doing direct mail. I'm changing up all my websites. I'm trying to do more blogging. I've been recording a whole new series of videos that I'm trying to focus on pre-foreclosure leads with, to use as blog posts and Facebook and stuff. That, right now the the pre-foreclosure folks, even they're not responding to marketing. And you have to wonder, why is that? Well, if you think about it, it kind of makes sense. Why should they feel pressured to sell their house now when the government keeps giving them money and protecting them from foreclosure? Why should they go pursue getting rid of the house? So that's kind of my take on it. And I've talked to a lot of other investors that feel the same thing. So what I'm trying to do now, knowing that the moratorium at this point in time is going to be lifted on 30 June, we haven't heard that it's going to be extended or anything. But if it is in fact going to be lifted, and until I hear otherwise, I'm saying it's going to expire 30 June. I'm trying to create a series of videos to make them stop and think about taking action now and checking out their options. Not necessarily sell your house today, but start looking at your options and coming to us and let us give you our opinion and our recommendations of things you can do when you start receiving those foreclosure notices, or maybe even to prevent you getting that foreclosure notice again by getting it sold ahead of time. They know that many of those folks have got forbearance agreements coming due as well. And I'm trying to focus on the people that maybe lost their jobs and still haven't gone back to work. And there's, thousands and thousands of those people, right? So I'm trying to get them to get their head out of the sand and say, oh, I need to start doing something about this. We're only so many days away from the foreclosure moratorium being lifted, and they're going to start getting letters from the mortgage company, from the attorneys. They start getting letters about their forbearance agreements and the payments coming due. So I'm trying to get them to start thinking about it now in hopes that they'll take action. Does that make sense?
Hey, Tim, how do you utilize your websites when you were talking about that? I know the direct mail, how that is, and blogging, but like when you, I have a website. I know I got a free one because I'm a member. I haven't utilized it yet, but because I wanted to kind of think about how do I want to utilize it.
Okay.
But what do you do once you have that, and how do you make that help you?
Okay. So let me just, let me pull up my site real quick just to kind of show you what I'm doing. So what Marshall just mentioned there was, as paid members, as VIP members of this group, you get a free investor website included in your membership. There's a lot of cool things about that. This is an example of what it looks like. Now, keep in mind, I have the premium version upgrade, so there's a couple things a little different in here, but you have all kinds of templates that you can pick and choose for this. But to answer your question, Marshall, is these are both buyer and seller websites. Okay, so what I recommend you do is, when you go out and create classified ads and post your domain name in those classified ads to drive traffic to it. If you're doing social media posts, create an ad and put it on social media and drive traffic to your website. And notice here, you naturally got the home page. You've got a buyer sign up, so you can use investor buyers as well as retail buyers can sign up. There's a free report here, so people can come in and sign up to receive this free report, and it's sent to them. Then if you have properties available, then you have a place to display your property. One thing I want to say about this while I'm here is that when you post on your page, like I've done here, then it displays over here on the group property listings page. So this is really cool. I'm going to help you sell your house on the group page. There's my house right there. So these are other members that have houses for sale. They posted it on their website and it comes up here to the group property listings page so we can help you sell your deals fast. Is that cool or what?
Yeah.
In return, though, you can do the reverse. If you're looking for a deal today in Temple, Texas, then here's one right here. If you're looking for something in Seagoville, here's another one right here. So you can, also look for the next one to purchase as well as your next one to, or trying to sell. So this is a powerful feature. There's nobody else in the Metroplex doing this. You have your own website included in your membership. Okay. You can set it up without a domain name, which it just is going to give you an ugly link to promote with, but you can go get a GoDaddy or, some other domain name and put in there. Mine happens to be DFW House Solutions, but this is the house that I just finished rehab. And I'm going to be posting a story in the numbers, a use case scenario, I guess you might call it, on this house so you can see start to finish. We did a video walkthrough on this back in January, and all the video is on YouTube, so you can go see that. There's 8 different updates, video updates, so you can see what it started like and then what it's like today as a finished product. So it's pretty cool. And this is the one I was just telling you about. 2.5 days, we had 52 visitors and 21 offers. Pretty cool, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So
How much over asking did you sell for, Tim?
what was that?
How much over asking did you end up selling it for?
Are you sitting down?
I'm curious too.
3.5.
Oh, wow.
Crazy.
I guess you did okay on that one.
This is by far the best one, but it's it's all of my rehabs have been over asking price for years, and we aren't your average rehabber. I mean, we go in and we make nice houses. I mean, this one is a new house built in 1952.
You
Yep.
can't from the pictures.
The only thing that we didn't change is we didn't change the stone facade here, and we didn't change the vinyl siding, and we didn't change the roof. The roof was 3 years old, but that was the only thing. That and the vinyl siding was the only thing I could salvage. The rest of the house was, I mean, we put windows. We discovered no insulation, so we stripped the drywall, new insulation, new HVAC, new plumbing, new electrical, and everything in between.
That's awesome.
But we don't do just your average rehab. It's got custom baseboards, crown molding, window casings, door casings, everything. I mean, it's just really, really nice house. This was all grown up. The right side had a big clump of dead trees, which I didn't account for having to take down, and that was expensive. You couldn't even hardly see the front of the house. It was that overgrown.
How much did you put in there on rehab?
I'm working on numbers. You'll see that come out in the future, but it was around 80,000,
Okay.
which was way too much for a 1,300 square foot house. But so it's a gamble, but in today's market, it was a gamble I was willing to take.
So what is the cost to become one of your premium members or wherever you get the website?
If you come over here to our homepage, West DFW REI Group, and you come right down here to join, or members benefits. I recommend you come into the members benefits first and just review everything. But you'll see that there's a ton of benefit here. And then if you come right down here below it, you'll see the membership that we have. So you have a monthly that's $18. But why would you do that when you can do an annual for $150, which means that it's only a few dollars a month. You probably spend more at Starbucks.
Right.
But for that, and you also have an online here for $120. The only difference between these two, the annual and the individual annual and the online annual, is that when we go back to physical meetings, you would end up having to pay for the door fee for attending the meeting.
Okay.
So, that's $25. So that only takes one meeting to catch up to that, right? So you're just
Right.
better off to go this route, but this one gives you all the same access and everything. I'm sorry, there is one other difference. The online access only, they don't get the two bonuses here. They don't get the We Buy Houses t-shirt like I have on. I don't know if you can see it. See how much. So all the members get that t-shirt, and you get my heroes book, Ron LeGrand, if you know who he is.
Yes.
Real estate, quick turn real estate entrepreneur. Ron is who I started with 20 years ago. He's who I'd mentored with, and I was his mentor for all his Texas and Canadian students for about 5 years. So these two bonuses come with this 150 option. And you could spend more than that monthly fee. What is that? $10, $12 a month. Yeah, $12.50 a month. You could spend more than that on just the website alone, but yet you get all these other benefits right here. It's just full of benefit. The other thing is the comps tool. You get 6 months free of the deal analysis suite, which is comps, deal analyzer, and repair estimator. You need MLS comps. If any of you are not using MLS for your comps, then you're making a big mistake. You need this tool, and we give it to you for free for 6 months. We want you to have the best tools to help you be successful.
Okay. Thank you.
So, you're welcome. All right, what else? So there was another question you had too, Chase. What was it? Repair cost. If I had to do this same house over again that I just showed you, you're probably talking, another $8,000 to $10,000 increase if I had to start all over again. It's just the costs have just gone through the roof. What's that mean to you as an investor today? It means that we have to be more diligent. First off, you have to learn how to and make sure you understand how to do comps correctly. And remember, our market's going through the roof, right? When I bought this house, my offer was based on a 170 ARV. And that was pushing it. I was on the high side. And that was because I always go overboard on my rehab. I really knew I was going to do that on this house. And I was really estimating that rehab being overdone, thinking and pushing the ARV, which I always do push, because it was going to be really nice. And I said 170. Well, by the time we were done and my agent walked the house again, she said, based on what's happening today, I think we're going to start at 195. And, I think we had one national wholesaler offer me 162, and we just laughed at that. Matter of fact, that wasn't even included in the 21 offers. So that's 22 offers. But then we had, I think, one offer that was at full price and all the rest of the offers were above asking. And so did I anticipate some offers going higher than my original 170? Yeah. Did I anticipate some of them going higher than the 195? Yeah, but I sure didn't think it would do what it did. I mean, and we had several that were well over the asking. So, you know, but the thing I want you to be cautious with, you know, I've got 20 years in business. You know, I had a contractor at the time that I knew, you know, we had a relationship, so I knew pretty much what the costs were going to do. So, you know, I kind of play the edges a little bit, you know, when I'm estimating the ARV to account for some of that increased repair cost. But now I heard just recently, Marshall, you probably can confirm this. I heard the building material cost on a new home today has jumped $30,000 to $40,000.
Yep. And they're saying that it's going to continue to go up right now. They're not looking at, it's not peaked yet.
The bad thing is I heard, I was talking to a CPA the other day, and they do a lot of tax returns for timber folks over in East Texas. And they said the timber guys aren't getting the increased money. You know, it's the stores, the suppliers, the vendors, the Home Depots and Lowe's that are making that extra income, which is sad, you know, that it's all there. Yeah, there's some trouble with appliances too. I don't know if you saw the news today, but this morning I saw that the largest cargo ship ever to come into the US is pulling ashore on the East Coast this week. And it's full of building supplies and appliances and stuff like that. So I don't know if that means anything to us in the consumer level and what it's going to do to the cost, but hopefully it helps us. I don't know. But you know, it's hard to answer the question, Chase, other than, you know, make sure you have good estimates from rehab contractors. You know, some of the repair estimating tools that we have available in the group, you can go in and set defaults, you know, but if the defaults keep changing every other day, you know, it's hard to keep up with that. But it's just a challenge. You know, you're going to have allow for a fudge factor on your rehab estimates. You know, allow 10% or 15% extra in your cost, you know, when you go to make that offer. It's really important to understand the ARV. It's really important to have a good sales strategy, an exit strategy. Mary, I don't know if that was part of your problem with your big house and with the current house out of state that you're trying to sell. But I'll tell you, it's an absolute must-have to have an agent on your side that really knows what they're doing with marketing, as well as your marketing skills, because you still want to market your properties in addition to anything that a realtor is doing. And quite honestly, that's where part of the networking comes in, by coming to these kind of groups and joining and participating, because you can also put it out to your investor network. You know, I'm 20 years in the business, and we build our buyers list every single day. And, you know, and part of the reason for that is they're one day, gone the next. There's a lot of people get in this business today and they're gone tomorrow. And that means that you have to be constantly marketing and promoting your buyers list. We have a way we teach how to do that and automate it, so it's growing on a daily basis, 24/7. And I just can't stress enough that, you know, it's just like with your retirement investments. You want to diversify those funds, right? You want some stocks, you want some mutual funds, maybe some bonds, and you want them in aggressive funds, you want them in conservative funds. You have to do the same thing in this business. Right. You know, you have to use all those different strategies and diversify. And back to Marshall's question about finding some of this stuff, you know, you you got to use social media. You got to use classified ads. You got to use direct mail. You got to use clothing. You got to use business cards. You've got to tell everybody. You've got to network. I mean, you just can't do enough of that kind of stuff to help grow your business and build that power team. And I think, was that Chase that asked that question about power team? Part of the benefit of being a member of the group is we have sponsors right here under the resources button.
Mm-hmm.
These are sponsors you can trust, and we're always looking to add new ones. Most of these sponsors that we have been with us for years, but these are people you can trust to take care of you and help you grow your business. So if you're looking for anything at all, you need to call these folks and see how they can help you. Go take them out to lunch and go see, tell them what you're doing and let them tell you how they can help and so forth. But very important and these are people that you don't have to worry about taking you to the cleaners. You're not going to be on the 5 o'clock news because they took your deposit and they were never seen again, like you hear about all the time with roofing companies and fence companies. They come through after a hailstorm and stuff, and then next thing you know, all this bad publicity is on TV again. So these are all people that you can trust, and highly recommend that you use these folks. And then the other thing you have access to when you talk about benefits and networking is once you become a member, you have access to this members directory. So you can communicate directly with all these different people when you log into your account. So if you are trying to market to somebody, or if you forgot somebody's email address or phone number, you can reach out to them here. You can see what part of the Metroplex they live in. So if you had a deal in Rockville, then you can reach out to Julia in Rockville. So we try to give you the tools to make it beneficial to you and helpful to be successful. So did that answer the question somewhat, Chase?
Oh yeah, I definitely will be joining again. I'm trying to get my feet running. I got some time on my hands right now due to an injury where I have the time to take advantage of what I got going on.
Okay.
So I plan on reaching out to everybody. Adam, you'll hear from me. Marshall, you'll hear from me.
Cool.
Where did she go?
That's what this is for. By the
Yeah,
way,
exactly.
be sure you go connect with us on our social media up here.
Of course, I definitely will. I'm using all the tools available to get this thing going. This is something I'm not going to be one of those people that's just here and gone tomorrow. I know it takes time, but you got to be consistent as well. So I'm here.
Well, that is, speaking of time, I see so many people think this is an instant overnight success, and there are people that get lucky, but that's not what this is. This takes time. You have to have some goals. You have to get the education that you need. That's what we try to provide you here, and the other resources that you need to help you be successful. So it takes time. You have to be patient, but you know what? It doesn't happen by osmosis, and it doesn't happen automatically. You just can't say you're a real estate investor and then expect the deal flow to just happen. It doesn't work that way. So it takes a lot of effort. Thank you for your service, by the way. I'm a retired Marine, so.
Awesome. Appreciate that. You as well.
All right. Who's got another question? We're kind of getting at the end of the day here, the end of the hour. So.
Well, hey, if no one's got anything, I will bombard with questions. I'm that guy. Investors, actually private investors. So I have a hard money lender pretty much on lock that me and my dad have tag team with, and we've already used for 2 of our projects we had in Florida. But I know it's here, so he's national, of course. But as far as maybe even like local private investors to help out with any type of funding, what was your guys' strategy on kind of getting those? One, finding them. I know I got a list sent from REI Group. I haven't really dug into it yet. But how does that work for you guys on finding, other investors for finance situations of fund your projects?
So depending on the deal, I may be able to help. So you can keep me in mind. It just depends on the timing, how much and what the deal is. I will tell you that, I'm pretty strict. I don't go into deals, lackadaisical about it. So, but if it meets my criteria, then I'll be happy to look at it. The other one is right here under sponsors. Reach out to our hard money lender sponsor right here with Longhorn Investments. Ryan's a great guy. They have a lot of different programs available. Just depends on what you're trying to do. And he's been a sponsor of the group for a long time, but check him out and see if there's a good fit there for you. The other one that you might want to consider, and this is more for long-term investment, is back here on the calendar. This just so happens this Saturday, well, this one, they're talking about asset protection and tax planning. But this Saturday is an all-day workshop with Anderson Advisors on asset protection planning. And this is a company that I've been using for probably 15, 18 years. And I have my entities through them, but they have a lot of cool strategies, and you may meet some other investors through these types of events and stuff. But they're going to talk a lot about tax strategies and investments through IRAs and stuff. Very, very beneficial to sit in on this call. Again, it's free. Just register for that. The other one you'll want to watch out for is we do one with Equity Trust Company, which is a self-directed IRA company. And you'll find a lot of people using IRA money, which is what I do, use IRA money to lend as well as buy houses with. Okay. It's a great strategy because you're doing it tax-free. So think about those two events.
I can vouch for Anderson. My wife and I had two individual IRAs, which through a QRP, we were able to combine our money into that to use for real estate. And all of this went through Anderson. We have our corporation, our LLCs, all of that through Anderson. They handle our taxes. I won't say they're cheap, but they are good.
That's right. Cheap isn't always the best thing.
No, they've been very good. You get so if you're one of their platinum members, you're able to talk to a lawyer and consult with him and their tax advisors. I mean, the whole, they pretty much take care of everything for us in terms of our entities.
That's correct. Yeah, I've known Clint Coons for many, many years. So, and we intended to have them come speak before COVID to the group. So we'll work on that once we start meetings again, physical meetings. Here's the event for for 5 June. Highly recommend you go register for that so that you can be able to participate in this event. The questions we've been talking about today are right up their alley. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about on 5 June. Okay. So, all right. What else? For those of you that are not members, just come through and look at all these different tabs here on the page and see all the different information and stuff that we have in here. There's a ton of resources. I try and update this local resources frequently with new info, but there's a ton of links in here that'll help you in your business, different tools, things like that. The website, we already talked about that. Oh, the other thing I wanted to tell you is as a paid member, a VIP member, you have access 24/7 to these downloads here. So you can come in and download a contract, download these different disclosures. I give you a free report on 89 ways to find wholesale deals right here. I don't know if you've downloaded this already, Marshall, but there's a lot of stuff in there, isn't there? So
yes, there is.
Yeah, it's not a report on how to go do each one of those, but it's giving you ideas on where to go to to find more deals. So, and just remember how to eat that elephant one bite at a time, right? Just go pick 2 or 3 of those things and implement them and master them until you get them working well for you, and then go implement some more. It's that diversification. You have to go implement all that stuff. So, but anyhow, you got all this stuff. And then the other cool thing that nobody else is given is all these past meeting files. You have 6 months access to all of this past meeting stuff here. You see, you have audio files, video files, and documents, and it tells you how many days are left for you to access it. So in other words, this first one here, the annual case law update from Martin Garcia with the title company. He's an attorney. You know, there's 165 more days that you can access it. Going down below, it says audio video is no longer available. Well, if you see something like that, for example, here's one for you, Chase, Raising Private Money with Alan Cowgill. Okay. Great class. He taught that just back in October, but you can tell us that you are interested in watching that, and we'll renew it, and it's only good for 24 hours. So if you want something, you got to be ready. Call the office. We'll set it up, and then you have 24 hours to download it or listen to it. So just be sure you go do that. You know, look through all this stuff. There's several classes in here on buying houses subject to, which is, you know, no money down type strategies, which is going to be, I think, a very popular thing this summer, right, Marshall?
Yes, sir, it is.
When all these foreclosure moratoriums are lifted and these lenders start pursuing the foreclosures, we're going to see a lot of activity. And I want you to be prepared for it. I've been teaching those classes using that strategy for many, many years. So
isn't Texas hard to do foreclosures because there's only a certain amount of time to have the foreclosure taken care of?
No, actually, Texas is one of the fastest. Texas and Georgia are the 2 fastest states in the country to do foreclosures.
Okay. And is that through closing of a property, or?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, okay, so the foreclosure, are you talking about to get it foreclosed? They're very quick to do that.
So there's a timeline for you that, you know, you have to give the notifications. You know, you have to give written notification. It has to be registered mail, and they have to give you those notices. I think it's 120 days. Once you get to that 120 days, then they can give you the notice to accelerate, which 21 days later is going to equate to the first Tuesday of the following month, or of that month. So whatever that 21 days later is, but you'll see that that's going to align with the first Tuesday of the month. Mm-hmm. And that the 21 day notice is what I'm talking about. That notice to accelerate is 21 days. All the other states are longer except Georgia. Georgia's 21 days as well.
Okay.
But there's a very strict criteria you have to give if you're the one foreclosing. And one of the great benefits that we have here, we have one of our sponsors, Real Estate IQ, is a data company. And one of the services that they offer is a list. You can actually get a list service that's called Deal Finder Suite. And in that Deal Finder Suite, they give you 10 or 11 different types of lists. One of those is pre-foreclosures. There's probate, divorces, liens, absentee owners. These are all fresh leads from the county records. But those pre-foreclosure leads, you know, those come from the courthouse, and you can market to those folks, and it'll tell you the dates that they're scheduled for foreclosure. And, you know, you can market to them in hopes that you can buy that property subject to and take over that mortgage or pay cash, whichever is appropriate for that lead. They also have a premium deal finder suite that gives you skip trace leads. So they come with emails and phone numbers for those services. And we have a link in here that'll give you a 40% discount for life if you decide you want to pursue those leads. And it's actually over here under the local resources page. So you can come in here and subscribe to their services and save 40% with that link.
I've used lists before, but I found out that oftentimes the phone numbers aren't any good.
Yeah, well, there is no such thing as a guarantee, that's for sure. But what Real Estate IQ does is they scrub those lists and they give you every phone number and every email that they think belongs to that owner.
Okay.
So you usually end up with multiples. Now,
Right.
That's not a guarantee by any means. Not a guarantee, but they certainly work hard at giving you that information. So I'm trying to see where that, okay, here we go. Deal finding suite. Okay. So here's the Texas one. You want to use this promo code and that'll get you that discount. It looks to me like I don't have the premium suite on there, but it's the same promo code. If you want the direct link to it, let me know and I'll send it to you. But that is, I mean, for what you get for the money, it's better than you having to go to the courthouse records yourself and trying to find this stuff. They're saving you all the time trying to locate that stuff.
Right.
So.
Is that where?
If anybody wants that link directly to the premium suite, just let me know. I see I'm gonna have to add it on here. I thought it was here.
Is that where you get the link there for the 6 months, the free, or before that, or you how do you just go directly?
No. Do you still have your welcome aboard emails?
I do.
Go back to that very first one that says, welcome aboard to the West DFW REI Group. And down halfway, 3/4 of the way down, you'll see the deal finder suite.
Okay.
I'm sorry, deal analysis suite mentioned. And in that paragraph, there's a 6 months link. And you just go
Gotcha.
register right there.
All right.
That goes out in that very first welcome aboard email you get.
Okay.
Spend some time in this local resources page because there's a lot of good information in here for you. And you don't have to be a member of this, of the group to utilize this information. This resources page is a free page. Okay. I don't think I have anything else. Anybody else? Any last parting questions?
I have one. Do you have anybody doing multifamily, or is it strictly single family?
Well, that's what the group focuses on, single family. I'm working on finding a multifamily speaker to come teach.
Okay. Because I'm interested in multifamily.
Okay. I had a speaker lined up that turned out to act like the world revolved around her. And she thought she could just respond when she wanted to and give me info when she wanted to. And that wasn't working. I could tell it was going to be a difficult relationship. So we just parted ways. So I'm looking for somebody else. Hopefully in the next couple of months, we'll have a multifamily event.
Okay.
We are also looking for meeting locations. So if anybody knows of a sizable place that might make a good location for physical meetings, I'd appreciate you sending it to me. We have a great location that we used before COVID. The last time I talked to them, they had not reopened their doors. I'm just making note again now that the governor has lifted all these mask mandates and people are getting vaccinated. I'm gonna call and see if they have any plans to open the doors again soon, because it's a great location and I hope we can go back there.
Tim, how can we reach you? Email, phone number,
The
information?
easiest thing to do is come right up here to the top right corner in the contact us page.
Okay.
And, you know, the phone number is down here on the bottom of the page too.
That's yours or the office?
That's my office, yeah.
That's your office? Okay, perfect. Awesome.
You know, you can reach us on email right here.
Okay.
All right, anybody else?
Thank you.
Marshall,
I
did you
appreciate
get hit
everybody.
by
Nice
hail
meeting
up there?
everybody.
Say-
Did you get hit by hail?
No, it missed us just, we're just south of 1709 and it went on the north side of it. So we just missed it by about a half of a mile.
Good, good.
We were
good.
lucky.
I was worried. I got a house in Saginaw. I was worried, and it sounded like we had 1 or 2 nicks, but that was it.
Yeah,
So,
there was a section of Keller got hit hard.
yep, that's what I heard. All righty,
All right.
folks,
Thank
that's all
you.
I got.
A pleasure. Hey, y'all will see me again. I look forward to seeing everybody else again soon.
Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it.
Take care.
You're welcome. Stay safe out there. Go buy a house.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.